The Virgin, a symbol of purity and innocence, and also a fetish to many, many people in the world. This underestimated, vulnerable virgin figure actually holds so much power. Fueled by her attractiveness and the jealousy of others, the Virgin embodies the object of desire, the item we want to be or want to possess. Our obsession and perception of the young virginal girl appears in numerous narratives.
What's that, like code for something?
Oh my God, Dad, I'm a virgin.
I think a lot of guys want to sleep with Ashley. The fact that she's a virgin is always a positive. Why is sleeping with a virgin good? One, she will be...
Why am I even listening to you to begin with? You're a virgin who can't drive.
You're still a virgin? Where have you been?
Waiting.
Men must throw themselves at you.
The modern interpretation of virginity as abnormal is similar to the historical perception of the virgin woman. Women were culturally expected to get married and have sex with their husbands, and the virgin women with hysteria were thought to have been cured with sexual intercourse and masturbation. Sex was deemed necessary to tame the virgin woman. In Little Red Riding Hood, the story focuses on the relationship between a young virginal girl and a predatory wolf. Through the many revisions of the story, the imagery of Little Red Riding Hood and the emphasis on her virginity is constant. An important motif in the Little Red Riding Hood narrative is the red hood. The color red, signifying the color of menstrual blood, represents Little Red Riding Hood's emergence into womanhood and adulthood. She is in the beginning stages of pubescence, which highlights her current innocence and virginity. The red hood symbolizes the beginning of womanhood and the end of innocence. This is demonstrated in Little Red Riding Hood's character development. We see her naivety in the beginning of the story when she converses with the wolf and literally gives him a blueprint on where to find her.
Red Riding Hood told him she was on her way to her grandmother's house with some fresh cookies and a bouquet of flowers. "And where does your grandmother live?" asked the wolf. "She lives in a small yellow house with a red roof just over the hill."
But later we see Little Red Riding Hood's strength and maturation in some adaptations, such as the story of Grandmother. In the story of Grandmother, Little Red Riding Hood must decide between the path of needles or the path of pins, which represents a sign of sexual maturity. Pins are used by children to quickly fix clothes rather than repair it, but needle sewing is a skilled task that signifies maturation. Also, the imagery of threading a needle can be an innuendo for sex. When Little Red Riding Hood selects the path of pins, she exposes her youth and innocence, while in contrast, the wolf takes the path of needles, which emphasizes his sexual prowess. Also, the description of Little Red Riding Hood stripping to the nude as she throws her clothes into the fire by the request of the wolf. The burning of the clothes symbolized the wolf's desire to burn Little Red Riding Hood's youth and bring her into the realm of adulthood. The wolf's attraction to Little Red Riding Hood stems from her purity, which displays her power to entice men. Her youthfulness also causes people to underestimate her capabilities because at the end of the story of Grandmother, Little Red Riding Hood escapes by tricking the wolf. Although the young virgin is often described as being naive and innocent, she is anything but weak. The concept of the powerful virgin is also portrayed in Company of Wolves, another adaptation of Little Red Riding Hood. The story mentions every possible way to describe Little Red Riding Hood as a virgin. She is an unbroken egg. She is a sealed vessel. She has a magic space, the entrance to which is shut tight with a plug of membrane. She is a closed vessel. She does not know how to shiver. And we can attribute the wolf's attraction to Little Red Riding Hood to her virginity. As the story quotes, "Carnivore incarnate, only immaculate flesh appeases him." Immaculate flesh is often used to describe the Virgin Mary, and this relates to the werewolf's attraction to Little Red Riding Hood because of her pureness. Carter also connects Little Red Riding Hood's virginity to her fearlessness. She is the only individual to save herself from the wolves without the use of violence. She uses the power of innocence in order to conquer the wolves. Unknown to the danger her character was in, she was afraid of nothing, practically invincible.
So she was not afraid. She thought he was the biggest and most beautiful brown dog she'd ever seen.
Seconds from being eaten by the wolf, Little Red Riding Hood laughs in the wolf's face because she knew she was nobody's meat. When Little Red Riding Hood throws the wolf's clothes into the fire, she is asserting her dominance and sexual superiority over the wolf. Contrast to the violent werewolf myths mentioned in The Company of Wolves, where we hear of people who are murdered with no mercy, Little Red Riding Hood's ability to conquer the werewolf, a creature everybody feared, demonstrates her exceptional power. These stories demonstrate power is linked with virginity. In Unbecoming Female Monsters, the author Christina Santos quotes, "Historically, there has been an innate fear and anxiety of the pure female body because it has been perceived as containing an energy that the potential of being destructive to the natural of the status quo. This monstrous virgin figure Santos describes reminds me of a siren-like creature. She has the ability to lure in potential suitors with her beauty and femininity, but she is also destructive at the same time. In the story of Grandmother in The Company of Wolves, Little Red Riding Hood is a force of nature who is able to save herself. Her innocence and virginity is what helps her. The perception of weakness in a young woman helped Little Red Riding Hood escape in the story of Grandmother, and Little Red Riding Hood's oblivion to danger helped her defeat the werewolf in The Company of Wolves. This shows that virginity and the perception of virginity can incite power to the young girl.